Statement number one. There is no hard evidence, and I'll define what I mean by hard evidence, to the effect that Hans is cheating over the board or has ever cheated over the board. And that's statement one. That's not being disputed by anybody. If there was hard evidence, and by hard evidence I mean somebody catching him in the act of receiving assistance during an over-the-board game. That, to my knowledge, has not happened. Nobody has come forward with such evidence. That evidence does not exist. In the absence of that evidence, right, that's like the gold standard evidence. That's the kind of evidence you would need in order to make a judgment on how to proceed, in order to ban someone from a tournament, let's say. I think where the majority of the conflict has lied, and this is interesting, this is different from a lot of these types of cases where there is evidence and then people are debating, the type of evidence. Like Johnny Depp, Amber Heard produced this kind of photo. What does this photo mean? So here, one could say we have a similar situation where there are a series of things that a lot of people are perceiving to be red flags. And I think the disagreement lies between people who think that these things constitute like super serious red flags on the basis of which you can basically claim that shit is going on. And then there are people who say that you're just falling prey to confirmation bias and all of these things are totally plausible, and saying that they're red flags is a complete witch hunt. Okay, so now we'll get to two other things that I have written down here, or three other things. The first is that I think a lot of players, especially those who are less experienced consumers of chess content, when they hear the term, over the board cheating, they think, that's the most outlandish thing ever. There's very high security at these top tournaments. It would be totally impossible to cheat over the board in a tournament like this. That in itself, another thing that I think we can all agree on. Now, you can choose to trust my experience in the chess world. I've played in the St. Louis Chess Club many, many times, 9 or 10 times by now. Or you can think that I have a chip, I have an axe to grind and I'm being biased. But in my opinion, it is not particularly hard. The way that anti-cheating measures are set up right now, if you put your mind to it, it is possible to set up a cheating mechanism, even in very high-profile tournaments. As far as I know, there are inspections. Nothing was ever found. I think they even inspected his shoes. So that creates this incredibly thorny philosophical situation, which is, okay, what if you get a situation like that where somebody is playing perfectly or playing to a certain level? You claim that that level is absolutely impossible. It's as if a street ball player would just walk onto the court and beat LeBron James in 10 one-on-one games consecutively. You say, well, that's impossible. Well, where's your proof that it's impossible? What if this person had spent the last 5 years in their basement gym, working out and working on their shot, right? Unless you catch someone right-handed, there is no such thing as 100% proof. And there's just no way around this incredibly unfortunate truth, which is exactly what creates these kinds of situations. I think most people clinging onto his accent as a proof of his character is evidence that anti-Hans people are grasping the choice. Yeah, well, that would be an incredibly weak argument. Yes, if Hans is capable of faking his accent, then he's capable of anything. He must be cheating. Okay, that's not a good faith thing to say, because that is not a disprovable or debatable claim.